Hey folks, how are we doing out there today? It's Memorial Day, day off, kind of a overcast day, not real sunny out, but boy it's hot. So I'm going to hang around in here and do a little poke around with the cook stove again, my culinary adventure for today. I'm going to try and throw together what's called a Cowboy Stew. I've got some stuff left over here in the kitchen that I got to use up. I got a little bit of venison left. I got a little bit of Jimmy Dean sausage left, and I got some onions, some peppers. We're gonna put some sliced up potatoes in it, a little bit of corn, and let's see what else we got. Oh, and I got some Lucky's black-eyed peas. We're gonna throw them in there, see what happens with that. And I got some mushrooms. So we're gonna throw it all together here for you folks and see if we can make a Cowboy Stew. See how it turns out. Stay tuned. And there is the ingredients. We'll see what's going to happen with it here. Potatoes, peppers, onions, mushrooms. Like I said, I got some leftover venison. I got some Jimmy Dean sausage left there. But we're going to throw this all in a pot here and get it stirred up, mixed up, cooked up. See what we can come up with. Okay, folks. We got us a pan heating up here. Let's see if I can get you maybe focused in a little bit better on that pan. There we go. Get it out of the way. Alright, so we got a pan heating up here. A little butter in there. Ideally it would have been nice, but I don't have any kicking around right now. Maybe I got some in the freezer, but I ain't going to take time to unthaw it. Bacon would have been real good here. A little bacon. Get that started. We'd add some bacon grease in there to give it some more flavor and whatnot. But it's going to work alright. I got unsalted butter. Because I use unsalted butter for my cooking. It has a higher burn temperature to it. And with this particular recipe I'm doing here, or throw together, I'm going to be using my beef broth that I like. It's some of this stuff right here. I like this. It works well, especially, you know, it stays a long time on the shelf. And it works really good. It's got a good flavor to it, and that's got enough salt in it as it is. It's kind of a bouillon, but I like it better than bouillon. So we're not going to add a whole lot of salt to this because that'll be salty enough in itself. So we got a little bit of venison I had left over. Gonna break that all up in there. And that venison is really lean, so that's why you definitely need something to go with it, like this Jimmy Dean sausage and some butter, because you need something to put some grease into it, because it is really, really lean on that venison. Get that going. Alright. Let's just see. But we are going to add pepper to it. We're definitely going to have to add some pepper to it. Let's get some pepper in there. Alright. Let's get this going here. This is one of them throw together things. This is something that I used to make it. I haven't made it in a long time, but I used to make it at hunting camp there in Vermont, and it was always towards the end of the week or two that we stayed up there at a time. This would be something that we'd throw together because we always had a little bit of this left, a little bit of that left. Like I said, what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning out a little bit I had left of venison, some sausage. Gotta get it used up. I don't want to waste it. But yeah, we would do this the last day or so of camp. Go through the refrigerator, see what you had, throw it all in there, let it roll. We're gonna put this all together. Get it browned down. Once I get this browned down, I'm gonna get the meat out of the pan. And I'm gonna use all them drippings cook up my vegetables here. So let it get ground down and I'll be back shortly. Alright folks, we got the beef and the, not beef, but the venison and the sausage all browned up in there. So that's all browned up. We're just going to set that aside over here. Let it just sit there and do its thing. So, I got the drippings in the pan, but I'm going to add a little more butter to the pan, because you can't go wrong with butter. Everything's better with butter. We'll get that in there, melt it down a little bit, and we're going to get our vegetables in there. Our onions, peppers, and we'll wait a little bit and then we'll put the mushrooms in, because we don't want to overcook the mushrooms. They cook up pretty quick, pretty easy. So, alright, we'll get that going there. Let it melt down a little bit here. Oh yeah, the pan's starting to heat up good there now. There we go. There we go. Alright. Let's get some onions and peppers. Get them in the pan. Alright. Leftovers there. Make sure we get them all. Alright. So, when you're using, again, as I might have mentioned this before, when you're using onions, peppers, and you're sweating them down, you got to have a little bit of salt. It ain't going to take much, because like I said, that broth is going to put enough salt into it for us. But you got to put a little bit of salt, because that salt helps to get them vegetables to sweat down better. They'll sweat out more juice out of them, more flavor. So you definitely need a little bit of salt on your vegetables when you're sweating them down and cooking them down. And a little bit of pepper don't hurt them either. Alright. Get them going. I don't know if you can smell that or not, but it smells pretty damn good in here. Nothing like the smell of peppers and onions cooking in a pan that make you hungry. While we're on the subject of smells, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to any of you folks, but being it's just me here cooking for myself and Wilbur, any of you folks out there that are cooking small amounts or whatever, and you don't generate a lot of trash, garbage, alright, which we don't. So my trash can sits here quite well before it gets filled up where I have to take it to the dump. But if I put shavings, like my leftovers from my potato peelings, or leftovers from that pepper I chopped up, and onion skins, and anything, no matter what it is, if you got something like that that can create smells in your garbage, put it in a plastic bag. These bags don't cost hardly nothing. Put it in that little bag right there, Ziploc seal it, then you put it in your trash, and you won't get any smell out of your trash can that way, or at least cut it down drastically. But typically I don't get a whole lot of smell out of mine at all, just because I use that. And I'll do it, like I said, with anything. Doesn't matter what kind of, whenever I'm cooking, if I got anything, whether it be tomato peels or whatever you have, anything that can stink. Even when I have a banana, I'll take my banana peel, same thing. I keep one of these little things on my counter, and I usually have it, like I said, that one there, I'll use that a couple times here for the next couple things I cook and whatever. And if I have banana peel, throw that right in there, because all that stuff is going to attract them little fruity flies or whatever they call them things in your garbage. If it starts smelling, anything, it'll just start stinking in that garbage can. You can get away from that. Leftovers, same thing. When I clean the plates off, if there's any kind of leftovers that are in there, some gravies this side or whatever else, put it in that Ziploc bag. Zip it up. If you need a bigger one, use a bigger one. But them things are dirt cheap, man. So you use them things, Ziploc it in there, and you ain't gonna have a problem smelling your kitchen all the time and your garbage can smelling. And I know it used to drive me nuts until I finally figured that out. But alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and sweat these down a little bit more, and when they get all sweated down and whatnot, I'll catch back up with you. Alright, we're sweated down pretty good, so now we're gonna throw some mushrooms in the pot here. Good lord, some of them is pretty big. I guess I didn't realize that. It'll take a minute to chop a little bit of these up. I usually try, when I buy these, I try to look for the ones that are, if I'm buying them chopped already, some of them that are pretty well chopped up small enough already, but this one here got some big ones in there. We're going to chop them off a little bit here. That ain't too bad. I like me some mushrooms now. Yeah, that'll work, I think. Leave a little bit of leftovers in there. Alright. Get them moved around. Like I said, the mushrooms, we don't need to saute them too much because they cook down quick, they soften up quick, and they're going to be in this stew fermenting away for a while. So this is going to sit around for, yeah, I'm going to let it simmer once I get them potatoes in there and stuff for maybe an hour, 45 minutes. Alright. We're looking just a little bit dry in there, so we're going to give her a tad bit of olive oil. Just a little olive oil. Oh yeah, you can hear it sizzling there now. I don't know if you can hear that on camera or not, but she's sizzling. That's a good thing. Alright. So next, while we're doing that, let's get us some tomatoes in there. Diced tomatoes. We've got a can of them. Get that in there and move around. Oh yeah. There we go. Let's grab a hold of this and get this pan a little swirl around in here. Make sure it's heating even all the way around. Alright. Then, get that in there. Let's go with the black-eyed peas, and they're in a seasoned pork is in there with them. So let's give that a whirl. Let's see what'll happen. Like I said, cowboy beans. Cowboys eat beans. So there's that in there. Get that moved around in there. Get all them flavors mixed together. Alright. Cowboy beans. For the cowboy stew this time around. I had got a video out there somewhere floating around where I made cowboy beans outside there on my cooker with my cast iron pot, my Dutch oven. Alright, now we're at that point. Let's give it some corn. You gotta have corn. If you wanted to improvise on this, it wouldn't be any big deal if you had a bag of mixed vegetables even. If you wanted to do that instead, you could do that. Let's get that mixed in there. I like to cook with many different flavors. I like to mix my flavors. I enjoy food that when you take a bite of it, you can taste different flavors. It ain't just one particular thing. You get something that comes in when you first take the bite, and then before you get done chewing it all up, you get the flavors behind it also. Alright, let's get that in there. That's warming up good. Alright. Yep. Okay. Well, let's put some beef back in the hole. Now I keep saying beef because normally that's what I'm using, but it's going to be venison and sausage. Let's get that back in there. Alright. Get that worked in there. ain't done a whole lot of seasoning here lately, so I'm gonna add a little seasonings here. We definitely got to have garlic. So I got me some minced garlic here. We're gonna take a big old swath of that in there. Alright. Let's get them all oozed in there. There we go. Alright. All mixed up, and then let's kick it up a little with some Italian seasoning. Give it some of that in there. You got tomatoes, you got peppers, you got corn, tomato Italian seasoning will go good with that. Mix it right in. Alright. Well, she's looking colorful. There is a pretty good smell rolling out of here. It's smelling good. Alright. Alright, at this point, this is where we're going to dump us in some potatoes, sliced up potatoes. Dump them all in there. And much I got going on here, I probably could have used a little more taters than what I got, but we'll be alright. We'll be alright. It's a stew. Okay. Kind of in there, mixed up. Now, the broth I was talking to you about, that beef broth, I got it mixed up here some. And we're going to pour that right in there. Pour that right in there. Alright, now I'm thinking by the time it simmers down there for a bit, we're going to need more liquid, so give it a little more liquid. Let's give it a little water there. Alright. And if you kind of get carried away on the water, just because you ain't sure, you don't know, and it does end up being all cooked down or whatnot, and you think it's still a little too thin, get your little cornstarch, some cold water, just a little. Take maybe a teaspoon, tablespoon even, depending on how much you're making. A tablespoon of cornstarch, just a little bit of cold water. It ain't gonna take a whole lot, just enough to dissolve it up good. Work that around in there. And then bring it to a boil again, because you won't know how thick it is till it comes to a boil. That's when it hits its thickest point, is when it comes to a boil. Throw it in there, right around, and you'll find out that'll thicken it right up real good. So for now, at this point, we're going to turn the heat down on this thing. Stay down on a nice low down there. And we're going to throw a lid on it. We're going to let it simmer away for at least a half hour, 45 minutes. I might even leave for an hour, it depends. But basically what I'm looking for is to make sure my potatoes are done cooking. So when I get simmered down a bit, I'll catch back up with you folks. Alrighty. Alright folks, she's been a simmering away here. I checked my potatoes with a fork and they seem to be done. I don't want them overdone, I don't want them squishy. I want them so they got a little bit of bite to them. But it is still, let me get a little spoon out here. Let me get a spoon out here. I know I got one kicking around somewhere here. Yeah, let's go with it. So anyway, what I got is it's looking good. And I tasted it. It tastes good. We're good there. And it's not overpowered on the salt or anything because I didn't put any in there with all that other stuff. So anyway, she's looking pretty good. But for me, my preference, it is still a tad bit on the thin side. So that little cornstarch trick I told you about, I got that going on right here. Get it all mixed up. Just a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of water. We'll dump it in there. And we're going to stir it around. Get it all mixed in there so it thickens it up. You can see it's already starting to work because the liquid in there is hot. As I said, once it comes to a full boil again, you'll know how thick it's really going to be. Alright. So that right there is looking pretty good. And this is, as I said, typically it's done with beef, so we're using beef stock. And that being said, we're going to put a tad bit of color to it here. I got this here browning agent, I guess they call it. It's a browning and seasoning sauce. It doesn't add a whole lot of flavor, but it definitely makes the color look better. It browns it up. So we're just going to put just a little teeny bit of that. Ain't going to take much. We mix that in here, and it'll brown it up like a brown gravy. See how fast that works in there? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Makes it like a nice brown stew. Alright. I'll mix that up in there. Alrighty. Now I will take this, like I said, I'm going to let it keep on heating here till it comes to a full boil again. It's on a low simmer. We'll let it do its thing here. Put the lid on it, let it simmer down, let's see how thick it gets. I think that's going to work out pretty good the way it is. And what I'll do with that is, I got to run to the store here shortly anyways. Maybe I'll grab up some of them instant biscuits there that you just throw in the oven there. Some buttermilk biscuits. And I'll put that on some buttermilk biscuits later. And I'm sure it's going to be Wilbur approved because Noah's been sniffing away ever since I took that venison out, put it in the pan, started frying it. That usually gets his attention pretty quick. But yeah, we'll give that a whirl, folks. And anyways, I guess for now, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I'm going to get me some biscuits, put the biscuits to it later on, and fill our bellies up. And I'm sure Wilbur will be happy to help me out with it. But for now on, hope y'all are having a good Memorial Day weekend. It's the last day of it. So tomorrow's a work day. And from now on, the rest of the day, you folks have a wonderful day together with family and friends. And until the next time, may God bless.